I hate Naruto, but you know what I don't hate? The pet girl of Sakurasou. This anime is very good. I just finished it. I watched it all in dub. I don't care what you say, the dub's very good for this.
Are you trying to seduce me?
Misaki told me you like it more if I didn't put pants on.
And I just have a bunch of feelings that I want to freaking let out on this channel. I just want to talk about it. So I have like 3 main categories: the romance, the characters, and the message. So yeah, we're gonna go through each of those one by one, and I'll give my little speech on each one. I'm gonna start off with explaining the basic plot of the show so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. There's these kids, they get kicked out of the normal dorms because they're like bad or whatever. The main character boy gets kicked out because he like adopts cats. So he goes to this place called Sakura Hall, and it's where like all the bad kids go. And there's this transfer student that comes in the first episode, and she's like blonde, she's from like England or something. And so the boy instantly likes her. And then in school, there's this other brown-haired girl named Aoyama or something like that, and she loves him too. So there's like, it just feels kind of pointless to have that love triangle. She's just introduced for no reason, and it's not like in the future, oh, he has to decide. No, the other girl gets freaking heartbroken, like goes back home. It's so stupid. Another piece of love is there's like build up for romance in the whole show. They're like basically edging us for romance, and in the end, the boy and the blind girl are about to kiss, and then the freaking cat interrupts them. It's like the big freaking peak of the entire show. It just gets interrupted, and you think something's romantic's gonna happen with the brown-haired girl too, because like they're like flirting the whole time and stuff, but nothing ever comes of it. The show just ends, and it freaking infuriates me so much because it's just like hyping us up. Oh wait, just wait, watch one more episode and you'll see it. No, there's none of it. No, it just goes away, and I hate it. Another complaint I have is there's too much fan service. Off the rip in episode 1, this girl is like sleeping in his room, and she's freaking like just laying there and like crawls all over him and stuff, and there's so much fan service. I'm gonna have like a few clips playing on screen. There's so much freaking fan service in this show. I almost feel embarrassed making this video, because if some of you go and watch this, you're gonna think like, this is the most disgusting person I've ever seen on YouTube. He actually watched this show. Yes, I did, but I can look past the fan service and see the goodness of this show.
I appreciate the thought, but I just went 3 rounds with Rumi, so I'm all tuckered out.
I need to look up the character names. Okay, so there's this dude, Gene. He's freaking like the Riz King in the show. The reason he's kicked out is because he like dates too many girls, and he's always out late, like with his girlfriends that are like married and in college, and he's in like high school. So yeah, that's the reason he gets kicked out. There's also romance between him and the Misaki girl, the girl who like wakes up in Sorata's bed, but he doesn't want to love her because she's perfect, and he don't want to mess her up apparently. So he wants to wait until he becomes a good writer, because the Misaki girl's an animator, so he wants to be a good writer so they can work together. So he like just like holds off the relationship until he's done with college. He freaking bangs all these girls. It's kind of insane. And yeah, alright, so now on into the characters a little bit. So we got Sorata, the main character, Shina, the blonde girl. She's really good at writing manga, and she used to be like a world-class painter. And then Aoyama, that's the girl who likes Sorata. The stupid freaking love triangle makes me so mad. The Ryunosuke guy, he's like this freaking redditor, sits in his room all day and just like programs, and that's kind of cool. And when I first saw him, I thought he was a girl until he started talking, and that really threw me off.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Ryunosuke Akasaka.
There's also the teacher. She don't really have a big role in the show. She just like drinks and neglects the kids. That's about it. And then Gene, obviously, he wants to be a writer for Misaki. Okay, now I want to get into a character that makes me really mad. There's this British girl that pulls up later in the show. She used to be a painter with Sheena, and she comes back to take her back to England so she can continue her world-class painting thing. And it's a freaking British girl, and her accent made me so mad in the dub so much. I don't know why, just like the way she talked made me so mad.
Hold on now. Just listen to me, Moshiro. Moshiro, I won't give up. I will take you back to England with me. Do you hear me?
Usually, like British people, you know, I don't got a problem with them talking. Maybe a little bit. But this girl, for some reason, it just feels like a fake British accent, and it makes me like really mad. It like gets under my skin. I almost dropped the show because of this character. I gained so much respect for this Ryunosuke guy. He comes out of his room, and he's like, frick you, you're just being selfish, and you're just a sucky painter. That's why you're mad, and all this stuff. And he just tells her to leave.
There is no point in continuing to paint. It's cowardly to cling to her, but it's all Moshiro's fault. It's her fault for existing.
I have one question. Where was your will in that sob story you just gave us? I understand that people around you had high expectations for you, and you apparently failed to meet them. But throughout that whole story you gave us, you don't seem to have explained what you want.
You're supposed to hate him after this part, but I kind of loved him because I hated the British girl. But she does get better throughout the show. By the end, her and Ryunosuke have like a little bit of love going on between them, and it's really wholesome, honestly. And she's a good character. She comes to help look for Shino when she goes missing and all this stuff, so overall pretty good character. And also, this is going to be important to know for later, this blonde girl named Shina and the main character boy, Sorata, he like has to take care of the blonde girl because she's like can't do anything herself. So he has to like freaking wash her clothes and get her dressed while she's naked and all this stuff. And they clearly put this in there for fan service, but it's like, I guess it furthers the plot too. So yeah, that's why the dynamic between them's kind of weird. And there's all these points in the show where they'll say something like really out of pocket, and then everybody like will freak out and they're like, no, I can explain. So yeah, there's a bunch of that. So it's a very anime show, you know. I don't know if that makes sense, which may be a turnoff to a lot of people, which I don't blame you. Another character I want to just like rant about a little bit, Sorata's sister. She's supposed to be this cute little girl. She's so freaking annoying. Oh my gosh. Sorata's got his whole perfect little harem going on, and his little sister shows up and just ruins it, and she's like, you can't get near my big brother, you're not gonna have his kids or something like that. I don't know. She's really weird and protective over her brother, and she's just annoying. And whenever she shows up, I just put the show on 2x speed and wait till she leaves. And finally, the message of the show, the reason I like the anime so much, it's like the message of failure. So this theme of failure is very present throughout the show. This Aoyama girl wants to be a voice actor. She works like 3 jobs, and she's paying for her housing and all this stuff because her parents won't support her dream of becoming a voice actor. And when she does go to this voice acting practice, which will determine the rest of her life, she freaking fails it. It was such like a punch in the heart. I was so sad for this character because she'd been working so hard. Like a line they say in the show a lot is like, somebody who works so hard, you know, they'll always be rewarded in the end, but that's not true, and she fails anyway. And it just like it really hit home for me. But you just have to keep working, do the errors and stuff, and eventually you'll come out on the other side and it'll work out, you know. If you stick with something long enough, it definitely will work out. And Sorata wants to make games. He stays up all night making this pitch for his game multiple times, gets through the first screening, it's going good, and he chokes up on his freaking interview thing and his game doesn't get accepted. So he works even harder throughout the episodes, and by the end of the show, he presents his game, and this big game designer wants to work with them and submit his game to a big studio. And when they go to submit it, it turns out somebody else freaking submitted a game similar to theirs, so they won't accept 2 like music-based games, and it's just so
As it turns out, a second music game was submitted to the game title screening ahead of us. I'm so sorry. I can't give too many details.
It's such a horrible thing, and it doesn't get resolved. It's just like, yeah, sometimes things in life don't work out, and that's basically the message. And on the contrast, the Shina girl, she almost has like no failures. She's just always good at writing manga and painting, and she has almost no troubles. And you see the characters almost like jealous of that nothing seems to go wrong, but that's only because she's putting all her efforts into one thing. Every other aspect of her life she's dependent on somebody else, but this is the one thing she never fails at. Yeah, that's basically the message of failure. I really like this one quote from the movie. I'm gonna play it on screen.
Your future is decided by forces beyond your power. No matter how hard you work, there are things you cannot change. It's not fair. You don't have to accept things so easily. Just understand, the world is full of unfairness such as this.
It really hit me, you know. No matter how hard you work, there are things you cannot change. And that's true. You can only be so good at something, even if you work very hard. There'll probably always be somebody better than you, but you just gotta learn to use the skills you do have to try to achieve your dreams. And I think that message is a very important one, and that's why I love this show so much.
ありふれた感情から卒業もできてなくて眠れない突然の